How's it? This is Tommy Tile. It's about 3:18 on Tuesday, November 25th, a couple days before Thanksgiving 2003. I've come over here to Dana Point Harbor and Dana Point proper, take you on a little hike. Right now I'm standing at the end of a short fishing pier in like a turning basin of Dana Point Harbor. And let's just pan around here. The little beach right there is called Baby Beach. And it's got this really fine white sand, really soft sand. It's a really cool little beach. There's no surf there because it's inside the harbor. But again, because it's inside the harbor, it's also pretty dirty. There's all kinds of stuff, I think it's technically called. All kinds of stuff in the water. Anyway, so ironically it's Baby Beach, but you can't let your babies play there because they'll pick up a few extra characters. But people use the beach for launching up paddle boards and kayaks and outrigger canoes. So on Saturday you see all these super fit and not so super fit people launching their surf craft or watercraft of some sort and heading out. This is a little recreational pier down here. They rent out sailboats, Boy Scout type thing. I don't know too much about it, so I'll pan on. This is one of the channels. This goes all the way down around the end. The big piece of land right there is effectively an island with just a bridge going across. And at this end, it's like West Dana Point Yacht Club, I think it's called, and Dana Point Yacht Club, the other one, it's a little farther down. Just past that, there's the channel that heads out to sea. And as you go out to sea, you go along this big breakwater. I'll see more of that later. As I understand, all these rocks were from Catalina, which would be 26 miles across the sea. Anyway, 26 miles across from here. They chipped off the old block and then shipped them back here. So chipped and shipped. The tide's really far out. You can see, maybe you can see at the base of the breakwater there. There's a sandbar. So you go along and turn and point right into the sun, momentarily blinded. Now I'm going to change position, stand by. Alright, continuing on our pan around. Over here we got I believe it's a replica, I don't think it's the original one, but it's a replica of the ship called, I'll let you just take it in. Replica of a tall ship with the crew on board, and a crew's in costume and in character, and they have these kids. I can't see, but I'm trying to point there. Have these kids stay on board overnight. You know, aye, aye, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. You know, ar, har, har. Except the good guys, not pirates. And then panning just back to the left for a minute. This is the start of Dana Point proper. The actual landmass, headland. And coming back along like this. There's a couple houses up there, and coming along here, there's two restaurants. There are two restaurants side by side. One of them's Charhouse, one of them's Cannons, I believe. Anyway, they've got to have the best view in at least southern Orange County. I'll see if I can get up there and shoot back. And these are sandstone cliffs. Some weather over the last millions of years, and we've pretty much come full circle. Dizzy yet? You will be. Danger. High surf. Yeah, sure, I wish. Check it. Tube City. Anyway, so I've gone out to the breakwater. It extends out like this, makes a left-hand turn, and then another bigger left-hand turn and heads out along here. I've only walked and then out to the ocean. I've only gone out this one time, all the way out. It was a pretty good idea until I got about 2/3 of the way out, and then way off there. This is where we're gonna put some special effects in. Way out there, I can't tell if that's either the whites of seagulls or the white is the seagull poop. But about 2/3 of the way out there, you've got the seagull poop. And dry or not, it's pretty strong stuff. And it's back looking towards Dana Island, I guess you'd call it. This used to be a pretty big surf spot, pretty good surf spot a long time ago. In the mid-60s, I think it was. They put in the breakwater, made a marina. But in its time, looking back, there we go. This whole cove here, there's surf coming all through it. Now they've got that's the Ocean Institute, sort of a non-profit SeaWorld in Dana Point Headland. And then my beloved Dana Point. Painting on a little bit more here, there's a rock just offshore here. Again, the tide's really far out. Normally the water would be out to this rock and you get wet if you're walking onto it, but now it's just bare. It's really low tide. Probably like a minus 1.5 would be 1.5 tide would be like around 4:30. Right now it's what? It's about an hour. About an hour it'll be a super low tide, even lower than this. It's already looking like somebody's pulled the drain pulled the plug out of the drain plug in the tub. The water's just draining out. There we go. Burn a nice black hole in your retina. All right, well here we go. And put a little perspective on this. Here's the beach. No. Live action. Here's the beach. And here's the cliff. Whoa! So that was the first section, the beach. Oh, there you can get a really good idea of how big the cliffs are. Looking back towards where we started at the breakwater there. There's a little cove. Still got to find some way to swim out to that cove. I've seen a picture from a helicopter shooting straight down. I'll see if I can put that on this tape somehow. And you can see there's a channel to swim through, but otherwise it's mostly rocky. This is kind of like section 2. Where the beach is over with. There's a little path right on the cliff here. It's not so bad right now, but I've been under different conditions. Sometimes just after a heavy rain. And the rocks, the cliff here, it's made up of dirt, big rocks, little rocks, and they just come undone. So if there's been a rain, I don't hang out right here. I go down by the water's edge and trip over things instead. So I'll break an ankle, so I'll break my head. I'll take the ankle. It's a nice gnarly piece of driftwood, all tumbled and buffed out. My usual method is to come by here and hike on the way in and just kind of enjoy stuff. Ooh, wow, you know, look at the rocks and the animals and shells and stuff. You can't take anything from here. It's a natural preserve, so sometimes you find shells just right on top of rocks, and we'll find a really cool looking shell and then check it out and then put it right back down for the next person to find. It's pretty good. Then on the way back, I'm all blissed out. I think, well, I got to pay for it somehow, so you can't pick up anything good, so I'll pick up the bad stuff. Sometimes I come through and just pick up trash. Other times I pick up, let's see if I come across, I've already come across these lobster pots. It's a steel mesh cage that they drop on the bottom with a rope going up the top to a float. The lobsters crawl inside there and they can't get back out. And then they go to the chart house and become the main item. Anyway, so that's always a good thing to do. Pick these big suckers up. I look like a madman doing it because they get dirty, and they are pretty heavy. You've got some steel. Aside from the steel mesh, there's also some big chunks of steel or concrete or brick or something to make them sink to the bottom. So I'll cut those off and then drag those big cages out back to the beach and put them back with a trash can. And it takes a couple tries sometimes. Here we see an excellent specimen of the lobster pot, apparently beached upon the rocks. This one's in pretty good shape. They could probably reuse it. Normally next to along the rope there'll be a float. I've cut the floats off and take them home, hang them up. That's what my house looks like, Trader Joe's. And normally I'd bust something like this up and carry it back to the trash. But today I got my hands full with a $1,000 camera, so the camera's a lot lighter, but it hurts more if I drop it. So I'll just drag this up back to the path. This is the before picture. This is the after. I think I end up looking like a paramilitary wacko because I'll wear stylish footwear like this, which keeps your ankles going the right direction, because all the time I'm tripping over something. And then I'm carrying a big basket on my head, sweating and grunting. The first thing that got me into it was I was hiking through here one time and I found a bicycle. Up at the top of the hill here is a big vacant lot basically, and there's all kinds of stuff being thrown down here. You find golf balls, people are teeing off golf balls from the cliffs. And this one time I found a bicycle. It looked like somebody took a bicycle in half, cut another half, and tried to make it into a side hack, we used to call them, a bicycle with a sidecar on it. And it didn't work out, so they pitched it over the side of the cliff. And I found it, and I was like, and it's in the middle, it's about, I don't know, about a mile hike in to where I found it. And I was laying in bed that night and I was going, oh no, because I knew I had to go back there and, pick it up. And for some reason I got it in my head I was going to pick it up and untangle it from all the seaweed, the natural garbage, and then drag it all the way back and put it in the trash. So I had to plan it out. I was going to bring this kind of saw and this kind of clippers and maybe a crowbar or something. And what I learned then, that I've been applying to those other ones, my other covert operations on lobster pot removal, is I plan it with my head, I lift it with my body, and then I carry it with my spirit. Because a lot of times, I'll get out there and take it apart and lift it up and it's just like, oh, it's just too much, because really I'm not that fit guy. But I'll pick it up, get up overhead, and I'll just like, right when it hurts, right to the point of hurting, and then just carry it for like, I don't know, sometimes 5 minutes and sometimes it's 20 minutes. Just carry it, and then throw it down, It just makes this great crash. It feels really good. And you stretch out your body, your arms and legs and everything, and then pick it up on the other side, pick it up with the other arm, and carry it in. So occasionally I've come in with, I've got, dirt and seaweed scum and rust from the rusty cages, and blood running down my arms or legs or something from scratches. And now you see people's faces fade pretty quick. From far away they're kind of like, oh, that's pretty cool, the guy's cleaning up the beach. And then I get up close and they're all, that guy's crazy. You might be right. There's some pretty cool tide pools here. This is sort of a minor one. Oh, I'm sorry, I hurt its feelings. This is one of the smaller ones, but it aspires to be a big tide pool one day. Anyway, so there's all kinds of really cool stuff in here. Like, if you look down here, see those little shells walking around? I'm doing that with my mind. No, they're hermit crabs. Here. Leave them alone. Oh wow. You seasick yet? Anyway, you can see this guy's cruising around down there. There's a big one. Sure do love seafood. One of the strangest things I've seen down here, aside from other junk, is an engine, full-on V8 engine, or engine block. It's just like the guts of it. And it was all really, had this really cool patina. Like it had been tumbled around the surf enough that it was no longer junk, it was art. And I meant to come back and take a really good, you know, arty photo of it with the sun in the background, this rusted engine that's not going, it doesn't run anymore. And I was going to call it Nowhere Fast. But I don't know how it got here. Yeah, it didn't float here for sure. And I can't see the surf being strong enough to push it all the way up into these rocks. It's right about here, I think. A little farther up the beach in the rocks. There's some big rocks here. Smaller rocks. Big rocks. Smaller rocks. It's up along here. Anyway, so I don't know how it probably came down from the cliff. And I don't know where it went. And I don't know anybody else crazy enough to come out and get it except me. There's a palm tree that just kind of planted itself. No. Here's a palm tree that just planted itself. There you go. UCLA's film school. There's somebody's house. They built it that way. Didn't slide out like that. Like they perched it there themselves. Whew. Talk about living on the edge. Yeah. So the walk in here isn't too bad. I'll take you along for a second here. There we go. I wear these boots to keep my ankles straight because I have, even with the boots, I've fallen and twisted them pretty good. Right before it feels like they're gonna just snap, you know, the boots will kick in and straighten them back up. So I'm jumping around here in combat boots. So I'll get down around the what do you call them, tide pools, where it's all soft and delicate. Literally tiptoe in combat boots, just so I don't stomp any critters. Oh. This evening we are having the lobster on the half shell from the light menu. Well done. Portrait of the artist as a young seagull. Hey you. Yes, you. Spare change? You got the time? Some of these areas, some of the pieces of some parts of the cliff they're not really caves, they're just kind of indentations. Like maybe the water would come in, washed out a softer section. Come by here once or twice, there'd be somebody sleeping there. Whew. Tough lodgings. You know, I'm walking by and going, that guy's crazy for sleeping in there. And he's waking up, looking out, going, that guy's crazy for hiking this early in the morning. Well, this is me taking a leak. No, I'm kidding. Rocks, rocks, and more rocks. And people. These are members of the Mission Viejo tribe. Notice their distinctive clothing. That's mine. This is for me. Oh. Right now we're hiking in from the south toward the north, from the harbor to the through Dana Strand. I'll show you that when we get here. I've done this both ways many times, from the south to the north, or from the north to the south. It is different. Each way is a little different. About 2/3 of the way along here, there's a point that you can't get around unless it's super low tide. I got 4:02 right now, so in about half an hour we should have super low tide. well, we should have low tide, and then today happens to have a super low tide. Minus tide, minus 1.5 I think. So I should be able to boogie around that and check out the other side. Okay, we're starting Act 3 of this program. This is just a... Usually there's a whole bunch of shells along here. Tide must have come in and got them. The storms must have got them already. This is where the seagulls will come pick up a mussel shell with a mussel inside and fly up overhead and then drop it on the rocks. And after quite a few times of that, the whole beach is just shells. See, from here you can't, it's harder to see where we came from. There's a lot less people come down, a lot fewer people come down here, a lot less noise. But you can still see the breakwater. There's a buoy offshore. You can hear it. Ooh, ooh. It makes my stomach growling. Looks a little bit differently here. When you actually use the video, this is a lot more red. But you can see the striations of layers of stuff that have come in over the years. And at one time or another been the bottom of the ocean. And the next bottom, the next bottom, the next bottom. Here we go. Whoa! And this is way better than Xbox or PS2. Yeah, honestly, the cliffs are pretty stable, so the key here is to not look up when you're walking along. Hey, I said don't look up! There's a big gnarly driftwood sculpture. Oh, this is an authentic sculpture from that guy. What's that guy's name? What's that name? What's really famous guy? Oh, God! Yeah. Sculpture by God. Whew. Yeah, so you don't want to look up. Hey! You don't want to look up because that'll entice rocks to come down and talk with you and kiss you on the cheek and give you a big hug. The rocks are nice and everything, but they're not really good for long-term relationships. They'll only hurt you in the end. Box cave. How's it? Oh, there's some new caves here that there's no way I'm going to go into. I guess the polite phrase is forget that. There used to be a cave opening right here about the size of a person, maybe just under 6 feet tall and about 2 feet wide, that went in about 20 feet through rock into the back of a cave that I'll show you in a second. This is like an entrance to a cave. And it's all closed off because all of this used to be up there. So when I saw that, I went over there and then came over here and go see what's left of the rest of the cave. Boy, things do change, eh? Not nearly as drastic as, say, Thousand Oaks has changed over time. I'll leave you on here. This is what it's like climbing around. It's great. Hey, you like sushi? shy. Okay, well here they are. Here's a false cave, and just off to the right there's a cave that goes all the way back in there. It's all rock. And then inside and to the right is that opening. It's no longer an opening. It's now a half closed. Oh, that's not so bad. You can still fit through that. It just has really filled in. This is the inside of said cave. And that's about all I can take, so I'm getting the hell out of here. I'm mildly claustrophobic, I understand. Whew. So that for me was a cheap date. Again, looking back on it, this cliff top's a lot more stable. Nice cliff top. Stay. Little private section here. Still heading toward the north. This is about as far as we could get in the old days. Our friend's beach house, or our friend's parents' beach house, was just north of here. I'll show you where it is in a minute. We'd hike all the way around, get through this cave, this pass-through, come to right about, flash something both in Japanese and in red that I think was telling me, "So sorry, battery run out. Please putting new in." So I did so, and it stopped screaming at me in red Japanese. We're heading into the pass-through cave. This isn't that bad. It goes all the way through. It's more of a tunnel than a cave. Walk this way, please. And dude, party time. We came through there. And now we're going here. There's a series of little inlets. This is one of the bigger ones. I'll show you a bit more detail on the way back. But I got a boogie because the tide's going to come back in. Tide's coming in. And the light's going out. So I've done this from the north and from the south. And different combinations. I've had someone drop me off at the north end and then hike down to the south end in one fell swoop, and I had somebody pick me up at the other end. Because really, unless you got a really low tide, you can't get all the way through and back. And I'm really hoping that this is one of those days. Ugh. Nice little secluded cove. This is Dana Strand, just north of Dana Point proper. There used to be a bunch of, I don't know, there's palm trees. There are a bunch of motorhomes, mobile homes, turned into beach cottages. And a friend of mine's grandmother had a house down there, and she passed away, and the family hooked up spent some money in the place and fixed it up real nice, a little spa and everything. And you'd go, he was the fourth house from the end here, which would be about like the 10th palm tree, I think, all by recollection. Everything's gone now. So we bought them all out, and they're now fighting over putting in a big development here. Big fight. And the tide's really far out. See the shiny sand. I should go from here, wake up in the morning, boogie down the beach, out to here. There's not much surf today, but I can swear I've seen it huge in the wintertime. Right here when it was huge. When it wasn't huge, you come over here, hike around on the rocks, and go snorkeling. Go snorkeling in the water here. We got a Hawaiian sling and try our hand at fishing, spear fishing. We weren't very good at it. We're about 16, so we come down and stay at the house for the weekend. Bring a 6-pack of beer on Friday and leave with 4 of them, you know? Because we were just 16 or so, so one beer would get us through, 1 or 2 beers would get us through the whole weekend. And we'd have like peanut butter and jelly on tortillas, or you know, bagel with ketchup or something. And then we speared a corbina. My friend speared a corbina, which I got this little sand shark looking thing. We thought we'd be real old men in the sea, you know, killed it and gutted it and cooked it, and it was awful. It's really awful tasty. And so we'd come out here. And I was pretty sure one time out here I saw a shark, not a big one, but I was out here all by myself, and I was already in that mindset, kind of like, whoa, whoa, and I looked off, and this little rubbery thing off in the distance saw me and went off the other direction, which was good, because then I turned around and went the other direction too. And the Hawaiian sling almost got us in trouble. Hawaiian sling's like a well, I'm not sure the original one, I'm sure it's probably wood, but it's a fiberglass rod with 3 long prongs sticking out the end, like 3 big skewers, sort of a broomstick with 3 shish kebab skewers on the end, and then a piece of rubber at the other end, a rubber loop, and you wrap that around your arm and draw it back and let it go, and it's a spear, you know, just slinging at you, just slinging away from you. It did go at me one time. My friend was messing around. I had stayed down too long, and I was coming up, and he just saw something on the bottom he wanted to shoot, so he went down and he ended up shooting me. That wasn't too cool. Oh, here, look, the wave of the day. Woo-hoo. So my friend went out here one time with a Hawaiian sling, and he was going to get us dinner, you know, because he was the older of the old men of the sea. He was going to go get dinner, and he comes back in. There's a California state fish called Garibaldi, big orange goldfish. Looks like this. Hopefully I can paste that picture in there later. Anyway, so they're protected by the state, some kind of $10 million fine or something. And sure enough, my friend comes walking to the beach with one of these stuck on the end of his Hawaiian sling, flipping around, and just like, oh no, oh no. So that's looking up towards Laguna Beach. Really, really clear out on the far out of the point. You can see. I imagine it's Palos Verdes. It's super clear days you can see out there. Today you can kind of, if you squint really hard, you might be able to see Catalina out there. It's right about there, in the center of your picture. And sometimes when it's really clear, when there's a really nice dry Santa Ana wind, there's a high pressure over Nevada, blowing out across California, straight up the ocean, all the smog gets out there, and the dry air just dries up all the moisture in there. What do you call it? Fog. So it's super clear between here and Santa Catalina, and it's just etched black there on the horizon. It's this island, you know. A little farther south, down there, there's a really low island called San Clemente Island. And on the clearest of days, you can see that. But it's really hard to see because it's so low. It doesn't stand up as much, it doesn't stand up as high as Catalina does. And then out there, on the clearest day, you can see Hong Kong. Hi there, I'm Tommy Tile. Welcome to this episode of Big Freaking Ocean. Cut. How was that? Okay, so we're heading back now. So if there's no surf, if there's surf, we would surf. If there's no surf, we'd go run around the beach and be idiots, whether in the daytime or the nighttime. We ran out one time, the fog came in, and we had just seen this horror movie called The Fog. We just got really freaked out. We were joking about it, like, oh yeah, right. But then also we're all, ah! So, or snorkeling, or you do like a minor rock climb. You gotta climb up this kind of sheer rock, and then climb over the top. And there's this kind of cliff is a little bit different. It's similar to the other one, but it's like asphalt. Little bitty rocks all kind of compressed together. There's a couple caves on the other side too, but it's too hard to get to right now. But you climb down inside one, you have like a sand bottom, and then you come back later on, and it'd be full of water. The tide would come in and be full of water. So my crazy friend figured out that, all right, well, there must be some tube linking the two of them, because there's one cave with a crack where the water would come in, and another cave that appeared to be totally sealed, but it would fill up with water too. So I came down to visit him, and he goes, oh, come on, let's go check this out. And we get down to the bottom, and he goes, here, follow me. It takes a deep breath and goes down. So what am I to do? So I take a deep breath, and I go down too. And I'm just trying to follow his feet. And I was going to grab him, but you don't want to hold him back, so I'm just going, oh, and looking up, and it's just totally underwater. And like I said, I'm claustrophobic. I was going, oh, we're really healthy. We're 14, 15 years old. And really fit, and I've been swimming a whole lot, and I still just like my lungs are burning. I was going, oh! And finally I see his feet like point up, or straighten out. So we start to go up, and then we pop up the other side. It came up, and it's just like seeing stars, Wow! So I was really proud of myself for doing that little swim, but I couldn't believe that he had figured that out on his own, or that he had somebody else had shown him. He trusted somebody else to take him through that. That's what you do when you're 14. You trust people. And then when you're 16, you don't trust anybody. If you're smart. How many did I say? Coves? 3 coves? 2 coves? It's a lot different right now because the tide's really far out, but so you come over, do a rock climb, clamp over the top of the rocks, and you come to about here, and the water would be coming in, waves would be coming in, and you got to time it so when the water goes out, you drop down and run across. No big deal now, but it's a little harder when the surf's bigger, when the tide's higher, and when you got your friend's little brother with you tripping you up, or his cute sister slowing you down. This was the bigger one. Looks like no big deal now, right? Because the tide's really far out. But sometimes the tide would be really high and be right about come down. It's right about here. Kind of brace yourself. And you look out at the ocean. It's like trying to cross the street, like trying to cross Ventura or something. Ventura Boulevard. And you go, okay, go, run up the other rock like that. And you're safe. And if you messed up, it was more like, oh, glug, 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 glug. Welcome to my cave. Won't you please come in? Wipe your feet, I just swept. There she goes. I keep starting the story. I distract myself. So I've done this from the north and from the south, in the rain, in the sun. I had to one time do it in the dark. I came down 4 in the morning when there's a full moon and it was really clear. And the full moon was going to set in about an hour. So I hiked by the light of the full moon up and over the rocks and through the caves and all. And then I got to this cave and I was pretty much up against it because I was going to have to go through. And at 4:45 in the morning in the dark with a full moon, that cave's pretty haunted. I'm not too keen on small places anyway, so just get inside there and thought good thoughts and went through the other side. Realized I was sweating like anything. Pulled out my bottle of water and just drank it down. Just chug, 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 chug. I sat right about here, drinking my big bottle of water. Feeling pretty good about myself, but also feeling pretty damn lucky because I'm an idiot. Should have brought somebody with me. Maybe I did. Anyway, so that was a really good challenge. I was sweating like anything. It's not really hard. I mean, it is right now for me because I'm out of shape, but at the time it was really Tai Chi-like. You kind of step over, put one foot down, put your whole weight onto it, and then swing and step on another foot. Step. This really works your calf muscles. Stepping from rock to rock. It's like a puzzle too. It works your brain. You gotta find a way around things. You find a way around bad things and toward good things. Like, ooh, that's kind of cool. How do I get over there? You know. Usually right about now when I'm lecturing about types of rocks to step on and type of techniques to use, I slip and hurt myself. Oh. I don't think that was it. That one didn't hurt. You know where we are now? You know the way home? Where are we? Are we lost? Right about now, after doing one of those kinds of things, I'd come up on some other tourists, and they wouldn't feel like talking after seeing me do that. I'm either afraid of being the crazy man walking along talking to himself on the beach, or I'm looking forward to being the crazy old man walking down the beach talking to himself. Hope and dread. Either way, you gotta like the view. Ugh. Maybe not the spill though. Hooey. No more walkie on Rocky. Tommy want food. Cheeseburger. And big cold beer. I'm coming, baby. I'm coming to get you. This has been an Ali Dog production. Want your food? Brought to you in part by Coors, the hiker's choice, and generic Advil, the hiker's other choice, and by viewers like you. Oh hey man, is that thing still turned on?